So Nintendo's brand new user agreement states that if you do this, they could potentially break your console. Welcome back, my friends, to another video here on the channel. If you do enjoy this kind of content, and if you've been appreciating that I've been trying to keep you guys up to date, the best is of my ability with the Nintendo news here on the channel, especially Nintendo Switch 2, as we lead into the launch of that. Consider leaving a like, really helps the channel. Subscribe for more and all that good stuff. If you dislike it, let me know what you dislike so I can improve the content in the future. One quick question for you guys. I've been kind of experimenting with some new outro end cards. Stick around to the end or just skip to the end and let me know one thing. If I want to know if you guys think the wording is a little bit confusing. I'm trying to make a little fun way to get you guys, feeling a little bit more fun with, engaging with the content. So, something like with the Mario one, it's like one comment equals 1 star. But does that make it sound like I'm gonna somehow give you a star? I have no way to give you a star. I'm sorry. Or does that come across and you understand exactly what that means? Just wanted to get your guys' feedback. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump straight into this. So I'll throw it up on screen, and this is coming from GameFile. They kind of summarize it really well, and they put some new parts in bold writing, so I think this is really good. But let's first check the original. So the old agreement says you are not allowed, and again, this was effective as of April 2021, you are not allowed to lease, rent, sublicense, publish, copy, modify, adapt, translate, reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble all or any portion of the Nintendo account services without Nintendo's written consent, or unless otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. That's pretty short and simple. Now we got this massive new one, and again, the bold parts is by the writer of this blog post. So without limitation, you agree that you may not publish, copy, modify, reverse engineer, lease, rent, decompile, disassemble, and now in the new stuff, distribute, offer for sale, or create derivative works of any portion of the Nintendo services, bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with, or otherwise circumvent any of the functions or protections of the Nintendo account services, including through the use of any hardware or software that would cause the Nintendo account services to operate other than in accordance with its documentation and intended use, obtain, install, or use any unauthorized copies of Nintendo account services, or exploit the Nintendo account services in any manner other than to use them in accordance with the applicable documentation and intended use in each case, without Nintendo's written consent or express authorization, or unless otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. Another new part, you acknowledge that if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part. So basically, if you break any of these kind of rules, they could render, the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device, so your Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2, whatever it is, permanently unusable in whole or in part. So they could do it where it's like, maybe they disable online functionality, so it's only partially bricked, or in whole, meaning the console is not able to be used at all. Now, I know there's going to be people kind of be worried about this and different things like that. I don't think this is too much to get worried about. Some people are thinking like, oh, this is like, this is obviously, serious. A lot of people is going to get their consoles bricked or something. I don't see that happening. I think this is just more of a case of Nintendo trying to cover all their bases and, just in case. I mean, again, obviously if you're trying to exploit the Nintendo account services, like they say, that's something that they're going to try to prevent. So again, it doesn't mean they're going to always, be bricking every single person's console who maybe tries to like mod their Switch. I don't know, maybe, maybe, but what could happen, and this is something that I think was already in the language and something that could potentially happen, and was even happening to some people. Like some people would mod their Switch one, and there have been reports that like, okay, well now they have no online functionality available on their Switches. Their Switches have basically been blacklisted, and they just can't connect to the internet from that console anymore. So that has happened. So in a sense, it's not really new. It's just the wording is a little bit more kind of thorough, I guess you could say. But yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, that's nothing really totally new. I don't think, for the most part, most people don't have to worry about, having their consoles completely bricked. And like I said, for the most part, even people that did mod their Switches up until this point, they were just getting like I said, in part, right? In part, they were getting disabled in a sense of like they couldn't have any like online functionality and stuff like that. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I want to keep you guys up to date. I thought it was interesting how they reworded all this, and there's a lot of new stuff. I mean, it's like almost like what, triple the length of the original one. So yeah, just play safe, you know. Don't do anything stupid you're not supposed to do, I guess, you know. So let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, subscribe for more, stick around for a bunch more Nintendo content. We got a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 coverage that's been constant, almost like, you know, 1 to 3 videos daily since the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, because there's just a lot to cover, and hopefully you guys are not too sick of me yet. I'm getting a little sick of me, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, until the next one, game on. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.